Musically meditated.
Musically meditated. Musically meditated.
Welcome to Musically Meditated Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Riley, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster.
Oh, I haven't heard that in a while. It's been a really long while since I heard that.
It's kind of an egotistical statement, but don't take it to heart. I used to say that like every episode.
It's the catchphrase of the show. We just haven't done it in a while.
I just haven't done it in like 50 episodes, but maybe we'll bring it back.
What episode is this?
It is Heavenly 70. That's what we're calling this. We're calling this episode
Piling them up.
Piling them up. And Sreten, you haven't been here. Like, it hasn't been you and I solo for probably at least the last 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So how's life? Tell everybody. Everybody misses you.
It's been great. It's been busy. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
I'm back.
He's back.
Nobody asked for me, but I'm back.
He's back. They asked.
No, things have been good. Busy all around. Summer's coming. It's exciting. We were just talking about some of the concerts coming up this summer. Bought all my Dave tickets for the summer.
Here we go. He's already plugging Dave.
5 shows so far.
That's cool. That is cool. No, seriously. Really? 5 shows?
Yeah, we're going to 5 shows. Going to Houston in May.
Awesome.
And then pretty much locally here.
Shout out to Oscar and Rob, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. They show us a lot of love.
Constant love and support. They actually, cool thing, one of the biggest podcasts and most supported by the listeners podcast is a podcast called No Agenda. It's from 2 dudes. One guy's, I think he lives in Silicon Valley, and the other dude definitely lives in Austin. They got to do, it's Chris, Oscar, and Rob. That's their like podcast hero, I guess, if you're gonna say it that way.
I
like
thought we
that
were
group.
their podcast hero.
We get second place, maybe third. But yeah, Oscar wore his Musically Meditated shirt when he met him, and then I think they did a meet and greet. I haven't had a chance to talk to him to see like how that went, because I know it's a big deal for them. You know, it'd be a big deal for me if I met him too. It'd be a big deal. So
it's like hanging out with Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
doing squat thrusts with Joe, or
drinking,
sparring.
That's right. Yeah.
Doing DMT. That's another subject. It's another subject. But no, shout out to those guys. It's like I said, Heavenly 70. Sreten, you haven't been here for a while. And what we're going to do in this episode is go over a playlist of releases 2019. Some really good tracks that I like. We did do an anticipated episode with Scott and Shavy from Hobart Lumber and Boneflower. Mm-hmm. And some of those have come out since that episode, so please go back and check that out. Another thing too, it's St. Patrick's Day this weekend, and I was going through like my Snapchat and stuff on Instagram, and we did an awesome St. Patty's Day episode. It seems like it was forever ago, but it was a year, and that's with Craig Brooks, and he's a bagpiper. So go back to that episode. I don't remember the number, but it's a really good time.
You did a full 1 hour interview with a really good. I was very impressed with your knowledge of Irish history in Ireland, and then his history with the bagpipes and the drums and all that. But then we did a second video where he actually played 3 songs.
Yeah, he played the bagpipes songs.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was cool, and that's on the YouTube channel. So look for that episode. And he did a great job, and Sreten, you did an awesome job with the production.
Well, I got Carlos, my buddy Carlos. Shout out to Carlos. He's the one that edited that and put it all together.
Yeah, we've come a long way. That was cool. That was a great episode. So everybody go back and check that out. And happy St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, happy St. Patty's Day.
And stay safe out there. Next thing, this episode is sponsored by Hobart Lumber Company and Ace Hardware. It's at 630 Main Street in Hobart. The number is 219-945-3031. You can go to www.hobartlumber.com. Especially with the Ace Hardware across the street, you can find all of your hardware, home improvement stuff that you need. And at the lumber yard, they have lumber and building materials, hardware, home improvement, cabinets, and flooring. So shout out to Scott. Thanks for the sponsor, guys. They've been around for 100 years. So check them out. They're in 3 different locations. And thanks, Hobart Lumber. But so we're going to go through a list, and there will also be a playlist with this. And Sreten, I'm going to open it up because I didn't put it on here. So we have 18 songs. But the first one I did not put this on, and it was something I talked about with Scott and Shavy on the Metal and Meat episode. It was Freddie Gibbs, because I had a ton of hip-hop. Those guys were more metal, but Freddie Gibbs is back with Mad Lib. Mad Lib is an infamous, amazing producer. He did Mad Villainy with MF Doom, and he's just been around. He's like a sample king, a sample guru, and he put out an album with Freddie Gibbs in 2014 called Pinata, and it's been, I don't know, it's one of my favorite hip-hop records in definitely the last decade. I mean, it's right up there. I think it's a classic. Well, they've been hinting around that they were going to drop something this year, and what do you know? They did. They've dropped 2 tracks, and the album is supposed to be called Bandana, and they released Bandana as a single, and then the other one, the first one, was called Flat Belly Tea.
Are those two, are they available on Spotify?
Yes, both of them are available on Spotify.
Okay.
So, you know, the thing with Freddie is he's very versatile. I feel like he could kill it over a trap beat. I feel like he could kill it over Mad Lib, like sample-driven production. And it kind of has like a 1960s. He takes a lot of bits and pieces from everywhere.
You mentioned he can flow on
anything,
beat.
yeah,
That's
and
one
any
of his
beat.
skills.
And
that
I
you're
like
impressed
him.
with.
And I might be a little bit biased because he's from the area, but I love Freddie, man. And the first 2 singles, the Flat Belly Tea was cool. There's a weird transition, like I think it's a 4-minute track, so like the last minute and a half or 2 minutes, Mad Lib switches up the beat entirely. So it was kind of weird. Like, and then the Bandana track, like at the end of that track too, they had a like a Jamaican rant, and that was really big in the 90s. Do you kind of remember that? Like they'd have like a Jamaican dude spitting stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And nothing.
I can hear the sound.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't know where they were going with that, but there's kind of like a couple transitions towards the end of these singles, and I'm like, but I'm excited still. You know, like they didn't hit me out of the park, but it's like, Freddie with Mad Lib, and he's just killing it. And another thing to check out too is the episode we did with Rob and Boyan, our favorite hip hop albums of 2018, and Freddie did his own little EP and a collaboration with Currency and The Alchemist called Fetty. And that's an amazing album. It's like a little teeny EP, but The Alchemist is another amazing, awesome producer. He was with, what's that show with the guy that cooks? The Albanian rapper, heavyset guy. Sounds like Ghostface. Help me out, people. We'll get back to it. But The Alchemist was with him. Action Bronson.
Yes.
He was with Action Bronson, and he's just an amazing producer, kind of like.
I almost made a hemorrhoid trying to think of that.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. But he did the Fetty record, and that's coming out. They're doing a special version of that for Record Store Day, which is coming out in April. And I really want to get that vinyl. So to all of you listening, please, if you want to send the Fetty record from Record Store Day to me, I don't know, slide into my DM. I'll give you my address. But yeah, so I didn't have that on the list, so I had to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that. We can add that to the list of Spotify that's already there.
I did. I put it on at the end of the day, and I forgot to text you about it.
Yep.
All right. So now let's move on to number 1, Elizabeth Color Wheel. A little background on these guys and gals. They are on the Flenser, and the Flenser Records has a connection with Street Sect. If you missed that episode, go back and listen to that interview. It did really well. So thank you everyone that listened to that. But they've reached out to us, you know, moving forward, and a lot of their PR, I get a lot of emails. So I heard about Elizabeth Color Wheel. I know that they're from LA, but this track, they got a new album coming out probably next week. So by the time that this is released, everybody go and check it out. But the track is called 23. And Sreten, what did you feel about it?
So I made a little list, and if some of this sounds weird, this is I gave everything like 3 listens, but it's still a lot of it, especially hip hop, still like a first impression for me. But with this one, my note was so I liked, I think, all of the songs except for one on the list. Out of the 18 songs, 17 for 18. I liked most of them. I thought this was, you know, I don't know how adding the Freddie Gibbs songs is going to add, but as far as like making a mix of songs, this was like a really good first song, because it had
tempo.
It had energy, it had a good tempo. It's a really long song, so because of its length, that the energy of it, which is a little bit rockier, like more rock.
Yeah, it's like Rocky Road.
But it ends up being very like chill, almost jammy. So I thought it was cool, because when I was listening to it, in some parts I was fully attentive to it, and then in some parts it kind of became background noise, and then I came back to it again. And because it was 6 minutes long, I kind of was afforded that So
yeah,
that's
a
what
good description.
I thought it was cool.
There are a lot of peaks and valleys, a term that I use sometimes, peaks and valleys, but they go up and down. There's like a post-hardcore, definitely a shoegaze element, right, with their music.
Yes.
And then there's like kind of a chaotic drum grindcore sound to it, like it gets a little mixed up, but then they bring it back together, and they did like a weird transition, like the Freddie Gibbs song, towards like a couple times, right? Like it gets a little chaotic, gets a little weird. But what's cool about this in the subgenre of post-hardcore and shoegaze is that she is an awesome singer.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm sure you noticed that, and it's kind of like looking back at the old grunge days. We had a lot of amazing bands, and not like comparing her or Elizabeth Colorwheel to Soundgarden, but Soundgarden and Chris Cornell stuck out more because of Chris's range in the vocal delivery. And for her and her range, it's kind of like an opera vibe and kind of like whiny and just, I don't know, it's kind of chaotic, but she holds it together. Like there's a cool range with her in comparison as like a Chris Cornell. Not saying that she sounds like him, but what she's doing with the particular genre, I think it's neat, because a lot of the shoegaze stuff, it's a little bit more hum or like, just kind of in the background. She's not in the background.
No.
She's right in your face.
No.
So yeah, check out Elizabeth Colorwheel. Now let's move on to number 2. This is Luis Lemon. And you know what? We're going to play this track at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd be fine.
Okay.
We'd be fine. Yeah, this is another thing through I hope I'm saying this right, the Flenser Records out of LA. They sent this to me, and real quick, I'm not going to try to plug something just because somebody's sending it to us. I'm going to, if I like it, I like it, and I appreciate that they do that. So I just want to put that out there real quick.
Yeah.
But she's from Sweden, and the song is called Not Enough. It's really chill, and it's a really cool music video. Sreten, I don't think I sent that to you, but it sets up.
I watched it.
Did you? Yeah, it's cool.
I ended up, my Spotify was messing around, so I actually all this stuff was on YouTube for me. So this particular one, I did watch it, and it was a good video.
It was like she was supposed to get married, but she ran off with the preacher.
Yeah.
And then the pissed off soon to be, or was maybe going to be husband, caught up with him and punched him and all that kind of shit. But yeah, man, what do you think about her, Sreten?
So here's what I wrote for this one.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It's very chill. It's very it's a very nice song. When I first started listening to it, the way it starts out, I thought you tricked me, and I thought you put a Father John Misty song on there. I don't. Boyan's been on here a couple times. He loves Father John Misty. It is definitely not my cup of tea. I even went to a concert. He took me to a concert for my birthday last year or 2 years ago, something like that. So I tried, man. I tried. So I thought that's what it was, because all of his songs I feel like they start in a similar way. So that's what this started, and I was like, Jill's pulling a fast one on me. and then her voice comes in, and she has a really, really nice voice. It's a good voice.
Beautiful voice.
This song is really sad.
Very fucking.
And I
very
can't.
sad.
And if I'm in the right mood, I can do sad song after sad song. But again, in a playlist like this, I can maybe handle like 2 of these kind of songs, because it'll mess me up for a couple hours. I know maybe I'm sensitive, but it's the way I am. And this was good, because you'll see why. Because after that, you really transition to the next one.
Yeah.
But I like the last part of the song, and then the words. What is it, the lyrics? What is it? It's worth it.
I'm never enough for you.
I'm never enough for you, but I can't get enough of you.
Yeah,
so it's a good, because it's called not enough, and it's about like
letting go.
She's never enough for this dude, but on the flip side, like she is nuts about him, you know. So it's like it's a
great song, and like you said, you can hear the sorrow. So
and the lighting in the video really captures that, like shit. It's like dark, but it's the way that the video is lit,
cool.
Really goes with the emotion of the song.
And just listen to the track too. It'll be in the playlist. It's I don't want to say a tearjerker, but
no,
it's very honest. Like there's nothing bubblegum about it.
It's sad. You're right. It's not a tearjerker.
Yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah,
it's kind of like letting go. Not enough. But yeah, maybe in the future too. I know she's from Sweden, but reaching out to her people, we could bring her on the podcast. So we'll see. Seriously,
door's always open.
Luis Lemon, come on. Moving on to number 3. The song is called Steps, and the artist is Zach Fluids and Mick Jenkins. This caught my attention. Mick Jenkins, or Jenkins, however you want to say it, is from Chicago. He's one of my favorite Chicago hip-hop artists. The last couple records that he put out didn't really grab my attention, but The Waters is amazing. That came out in 2014, 2015. So everybody, please go back and check him out. He's his own kind. He flows kind of like a fast style, not necessarily on the beat. Kind of like a 90s Outcast, maybe Bone, maybe Do or Die. I mean, don't quote me on all those, but he has his own thing. He's original. He's kind of hard to put your finger on. And he joined Mr. Zach Fluids here. And he's a white dude. He's a white rapper. I don't know if that really matters, but you can hear it. And he kind of has a white boy flow to him, I guess. Kind of like a, conscientious flow, but a little Eminem-ish or whatever. But it's a swaggy tune, right, Sreten? What do you think? What's your favorite?
Great transition. This
Right.
I actually wrote down one of the lyrics
From
here.
sad until
Yeah.
so sad.
So with anything on this list that has to do with hip hop, I have no reference point. So one of my favorite things was when I went through my hip hop phase, there wasn't that much hip hop out there. There was, but I kind of felt like I was listening to all of it. And when somebody did a song, especially like the Wu-Tang, now I can't list the members, but when those guys rapped, you could identify every single one of them when it's their time to go. I could identify. Now when I see like different people, like I can't identify like which guy is this, which guy is this. So that's going to be a running theme with these 18. But I need to listen to this a bunch more. This song is super catchy. It's awesome, and it's deep too. It's almost like some parts of it are like a YouTube motivational kind of speaker thing, but then like some of it, I'm gonna we're a family show, but the opening 8 words of this is I can make a pussy do a backflip. That's fucking great. I don't, like I said, I don't swear much, but
it's okay.
That was that's how the song starts.
Yeah, so you kind of get a vibe for that. So check it out.
And then you just keep saying other things, and they're clever and they're funny, and yeah, it's a good song.
It's kind of like a swaggy, cocky, like I don't know, Friday night.
I like
ladies
those.
At,
not every hip hop song to be that way, but I like a lot of those.
All right. So yeah, check out Steps by Zach Fluids and Mick Jenkins. Mick comes in there and does his thing. Like I said, go back and check out his album, The Waters. He's amazing, great Chicago artist. Now we'll move on to number 4, and that is by Czarface, which is Inspect the Deck and Esoteric and L7. And they just dropped a new album out with Ghostface Killah, because last year we talked about that on the hip hop episode with Roddy and Boyan. They did an episode with album with MF Doom. So they're going through this process of different rappers and putting out a record. And the first track here, that's my favorite, is with Ghostface, and it's called The King of Heard Voices. Sreten, what you got to say?
The song was like time traveling. I loved it.
Very 90s.
I loved it. Within 3 seconds, as soon as I found, like, I'm white, but I got a good sense of rhythm.
It doesn't matter the colors.
I was head bobbing right away. This is another one I'm going to listen to a bunch more. There were a couple of beat switches that made me think of old Wu-Tang.
Yeah, it's very Wu-Tang.
And then it went out of it and went back to the main beat.
Okay.
And the main sound. And I really enjoyed it. I love the braggadocious nature of it.
Yeah, flexing your feathers. How about that term? But yeah, very cool track. However, I'm going to be a buzzkill. I was let down by this album because the entire album came out. I was looking forward to it, and it really, I don't know, guys. It just really didn't do it. Like, this track's great, so go check it out. But the album, I don't know.
Caution with the rest of it.
It just seemed a little rushed. The production, like you said, there's a couple time signature changes here. I'm kind of like, what's going on? And Ghostface is like the dude. Like, he's one of my favorite rappers alive right now, for sure. And for like the last 15 years, but it just seems like, I don't know. The rest of the album, I felt like he could be on it a little bit more. So, I don't know. They have a cool comic book theme going on. Not hating on you, Czarface, but I thought that this Ghostface album could have been a lot better. But now we'll move on to number 5, Malibu Ken, which is A$AP Rock and producer Tobacco. And the song is Corn Maze. Your brother, this is a great time to plug this. I probably should have done this in the beginning because we haven't even talked about this yet on the podcast. But we do have musically meditated vinyl reviews.
Is this the first time you're mentioning it?
I think so, and I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't know if I mentioned it before. Somebody let me know. But
is that at MMP Reviews?
Yeah, so it's all on Instagram exclusively. We're going to have videos in the future on the YouTube channel. But what we're doing right now, and everybody's invited to join this. We just have to approve you. We have to sit you down in front of a 3-man panel and say yes or no, but probably it'll be yes. However, it's me, Boyan, Sreten's brother. He's been on the show, and then Keith Koff. So what we're doing is we're reviewing vinyl that we bought either in the past, but I would say it's following more of a recent purchase. Your brother Boyan has been killing it. In the first album or the second album that he reviewed was this Malibu Ken with Aesop Rock and Tobacco. But go ahead.
That MMP Reviews that you guys do, it is exactly what makes Instagram cool. Like, you get workout videos, you get like all these things. This is one of the ways you get to see like usually 4 shots of vinyl you guys make. You guys talk about the vinyl, and then you talk about, like, it's all in about a paragraph or two. It gives you a really, really good idea of what the record is about. And I think it's awesome. If you use Instagram, definitely follow it. It's
you could search musically meditated vinyl reviews, or it's at MMP Vinyl Reviews.
It's also a wonderful way to wake up in the morning, and when you're dropping a deuce, you just read just look like record you're supposed to be listening to.
I know this, like, when I write my review, like, I get weird about it, and everybody probably realizes that, but like, I really I know this album, I've listened to it, and like, here's a little bit of color that I can add, and I know that Keith and Boyan do that too. So we want you to be a part of it, but you gotta put your heart and soul into that couple 2 paragraphs. Yeah. We're asking, so no pressure, but yeah, go and check out Boyan's review of this record. And I don't know, Sreten, all I could say is, like, I listened to the entire record. It was on one of my most anticipated. Aesop Rock is a different rapper. You have to put on your thinking cap when you listen to him. He does not rap on beat. His lyrical content is all over the place, from personal experiences to I don't know, environmental problems. Like, he links all kinds of weird shit, or even like social economics, and just, he's all over, like I said. And he's from Rhymesayers, and he's just been around for a long time. And I know your brother loves them. Like, your brother likes to listen to rappers where you got to put your thinking cap on.
Yeah, I wrote what I put here. Yeah, I thought this song was amazing. I actually have to. I don't know who is who. It's one of those that, like, whenever they start going, I don't know which guy is which.
It's just Aesop Rock, I believe. There might have been a guest on this track.
See, when I see all the names, I'm assuming they each get, like, a little bit of time. But it's very fun to listen to. It's awesome. But I wrote that I can't enjoy this when my ADHD is on level 10. Like,
yeah,
I have to. This requires attention to enjoy.
Right, it does. That's a good way of putting it. And I can't listen to ASAP all the time like this because of that. Like, you really have to sit down and focus. So it's not for everyone, but check it out, especially if you haven't listened to him before, or if you have. This is a good track, Corn Maze. The production is weird. It kind of has like an 8-bit Atari vibe to it.
Yeah,
kind of gets a little stagnant to me after a while, but it's cool. It's just a different feel. So shout out to Aesop Rock, and check out that musically meditated vinyl reviews. Now we'll move on to number 6, which is by a band called Wand, and it's Scarecrow. And Sreten, you go into this.
Okay, so it's got the song. It's got an instrumental intro that I really liked, and then when the vocals and the piano start, it gave me a Radiohead feel.
Yeah, there's a Radiohead vibe into it.
But then it does have its own identity.
It's got like a prog rock vibe.
It's funny. I wrote it give its own identity, and then I wrote I just wanted to say titty because I'm 3 years old.
There we go. But yeah, it's a prog rock little jam. I discovered this just on tracks you should check out, like recent releases, and I love Spotify for that reason. Like, they'll put you in the right direction, and it's just a cool prog rock. And I believe it's a woman singing too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Juan? Yeah, so there's a little theme there. And another thing too, I caught some shit. We could talk about this in the hate mail, but I'll just talk about it now. And I don't mean any disrespect. We try not to do that here on Musically Meditated, but I did catch some slack. Like, female fronted isn't a genre. I get it, but if she's a dope singer, I'm going to give her her props. Like, I don't know, like, not trying to get really in depth about stuff, but
right.
We're always respectful here. And I know that that's not a genre, but hey, if it's a girl singing, it's cool. You don't see that all the time, especially with like rock and roll or like a lot of these male dominated I can't say that. Dominated. Thank you. Genres. But yeah, I caught a little shit for that. Like, sorry. Sorry. Like, I don't know. If she's good, she's good. So
yeah,
there's that. But yeah, check out Juan Scarecrow. Number 7. This is another female. Sorry, it's not a genre. It's the Lee Boucherettes, and the song is Spider Waves. And Jello Barafa, I hope I'm saying that right, from Dead Kennedys is a guest on this track. And the Lee Boucherettes, I like how you put that, Sreten. It sounds like Deftones. I heard about these guys and gals from Mr. Chino Moreno from Deftones.
Yeah.
He was like, I think they toured with the Deftones for a second, and Chino used to always wear the T-shirt, but you know, she's got like a Tori Amos vibe to her, kind of haunting, little 90s influence. Sreten, what else you got to say about that track?
It's funny. Whoever wrote this and like your music is for anybody as long as you connect to it. And I hate when I can't get to the point.
I'll put you on the spot.
Like music is for everybody, and I don't. When I first heard this, and I heard her voice, and I heard everything as a whole, like let's say a minute into the song, I was like, this song was not directed at me when it was written, but
you took it
once
personal? You take a little personal.
Yes. No, but once I listened to the whole thing and I re-listened, this is a song that if my ADD lets me, I would like to learn all the words to, because I can see myself like actually sitting in my car and singing this out loud. It's got a, like, it's got that, for me, it's got that like, what is the word? It could, I see the song being able to pump me up if I'm able to scream it over her like vocals.
Cool voice.
She's got a really, really cool voice. But then the thing at the end, so when you talk about like back in the day with like Korn and all these guys, at the third part of the song, there's always like this like lull in the song, and some of the, and like let's say John, whatever his name is, Davis.
Okay, yeah, John.
He'll like whisper something, or the other guys will whisper something, and then the music gets really loud, and they go nuts.
It's like climactic. It's chill, then boom.
They do the same thing in the song, but they do it so differently.
I'm sorry, go ahead. So stupid.
Boom.
It's climax.
I might.
That's what I just said.
I might enter. There was a really dumb movie that I think Michael Bay did about robots that had Rihanna in it as
Sounds
a naval
amazing.
person, and in the trailer, like all this stuff's happening, and then all the music stops, and she goes, "Boom." I'll try to add that because I really like that sound effect. But yeah, I think that that last part of the song, the way that they do that sort of chant without actually putting a lull in the song, it's slower, it's softer, but there's still like the drummer's still going crazy, and then it gets crazy as this song is, which is not, it's not a crazy song, but
Okay.
I just really like the end of the song.
All right, yeah, everybody check out the Lee Boucherettes. I hope I'm saying that right. They've been around. The whole album's out. It's great. Check it out. Now we are going to move on to number 9, Proto Martyr. And the song is called Jumbos. I'm confused about this. Maybe somebody can correct me. I don't know if Jumbos in this particular release was from something earlier, like a random 7-inch or vinyl that they only dropped when they first came out. But Proto Martyr, here's digging deep. I talked about Proto Martyr's album from 2017, like episode 5, when I reviewed the Smiths' The Queen is Dead, like vinyl box set that I got vinyl wise. So if anyone wants to dig really deep and check that out, you could hear a little bit more about Proto Martyr. What's really cool about them, there's a revival of post-punk. They're a big part of it. And Joe Casey, the singer, has this really cool baritone spoken word kind of delivery. And I love them. And they're from Detroit, and they wear that on their sleeve. And there's something about post-punk that could sometimes be too Joy Division-ish, or ask if that's a way to describe it.
It is. And
they have that, but they do their own thing. And I think Joe has a lot to do behind that, and the guitar and the drumming. And I did get to see these guys at Thalia Hall, however you want to say it, in Pilsen neighborhood of Chicago, maybe 2 months ago. Yeah, probably a couple months ago. And they were great. Bought a couple of their records, which will be on Musically Meditated Vinyl Reviews very soon. But Proto Martyr was great. Sreten, what do you think?
This is, if not one of my favorite song on your list.
Okay.
I don't really dig punk. It just doesn't. I usually don't connect with it, but you proved me wrong a couple times this year. And this is one of them. Something about this song. I like the song. I like the intro. I like his voice.
His voice is cool.
There's a repetitiveness to it. I like that. I don't like repetitiveness in lyrics, but in this song, I don't know, man. I enjoyed this.
We're big
song.
fans of Tiny Desk, and they put on one of my favorite Tiny Desk performances of all time. Because Joe just has this, I don't give a shit attitude, you know. He's probably around our age and receding hairline like ourselves. I don't know, but a little jab. But you know, he just kind of wears like a blazer, has on glasses, and just kind of like, hey, what's up? Like, does not take himself too seriously, and you could tell that like with his vocal approach. And when I saw him live, just a very nonchalant vibe.
Yeah.
And I've listened to him in some interviews, and super awesome guy, just super awesome band. Check out Relatives in Descent. That came out in 2017. You can go back to episode 5 and hear my review of that. And the Agent Intellect, which that came out in 2015. I bought both of those records at their show. Love those guys. And hopefully they'll be back to Chicago. So check out Proto Martyr. Number 10 is by Defeater. They haven't been out. They haven't dropped something in a long time. And the song is called Mother Sons. Defeater, if you search for them on Spotify, like their most popular songs are acoustic. And they're really good. And they're heartfelt. Like, you know, one's like a breakup situation. And the other one's about burying his dad. But the singer and Defeater, you know, they're very aggressive. It's like a metalcore kind of metal post-hardcore deal with screaming and shit, like this particular track, Mother Son. But those acoustic jams that they have, they're really good. And it shows like the talent of the lead singer and just their songwriting. But what'd you think about this track, Sreten?
I got lucky with this track for sure that I was listening on YouTube because somebody typed out the lyrics. And I was listening to the lyrics, and the lyrics are amazing. Like, it made me think about the way that they sing this stuff because it's so, there's so much emotion. There's so much, this reminded me of an Irish drinking song. It reminded me of a drinking song, a song that you drunkenly, sing with your friends in a bar, you know, when you had too many,
that
or
good hardcore, like,
that,
let's sing along.
Yeah. That's just like where you pound your chest because you feel every word, and it, you know, it can make you cry, but the thing is, he screams it to the point where it's almost unintelligible, that you don't know what the hell he's saying. So yeah, the lyrics are great.
Okay.
Yeah, the lyrics are really good.
Yeah, everybody check out Defeater. Go back to those old records and, I don't know, bump that shit. Mother Son, good stuff. Move on to number 11. This is by Lucero. The song is called Hello, My Name is Izzy. Lucero has a cult following. I'm dipping my toes into Lucero. The song that gets me every time, and I like to drink to it, is a song called Drink Till We're Gone. You know, it's got over a million listens on the old Spotify, but they have a jam band, Nashville. I don't want to say they're country. I really, you know, just good rock and roll with a little southern vibe and a chanty vibe and a pound beat for a drum, right? Wouldn't that be a good way to describe them? But it's fun to see them release something new, and this is kind of outside of my comfort zone or the type of music that I really spend time listening to, but I do pay attention, and I'm pretty happy that they got a new track. What do you think, Sreten? You hated it? Hated it.
I did not hate it. I didn't particularly like it.
Okay.
I thought it sounded like a kid's song. I think that was sort of the point. I think it's about a cat. It's sweet. It is a sweet song. It gave me Jimmy Buffett vibes.
Ooh.
Yeah. I actually wrote Lucero is going to find me and fight me after this.
They're fans, though. They have a loyal fan base.
But yeah, I mean, I understand if somebody likes this stuff, but you know, I just thought it was it sounded like a kid's song.
If you never listen to Lucero, I'm telling you, listen to the song Drink Till We're Gone. I love it. It's a classic. That particular album's a classic. Go back. But I'm excited that they dropped something. So we'll move on since Sreten isn't a fan. We'll move on to number 12, The National. Where's Michael Massengill when you need him?
He's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit or at the bookstore. Everybody go to Green Door Books in downtown Hobart. All books are $1. And if you're in there when Michael's there, you will probably have 100% chance that he's bumping The National.
That's right.
He's a National fan. The National are cool. They have a huge following. This is a little bit outside of my regular listener comfort zone. And the song is called You Had Your Soul With You. And I don't know his name. Dude has a cool voice. Like I said, perfect bookstore, chill, make you reflect on maybe some bad decisions in your life kind of music. But Sreten, what do you think, man?
Like you said, we play the National a lot in the bookstore. I like some of their songs a lot. This song, it sounds different from the songs that I know of theirs.
Okay.
He usually has a very low voice or a lower voice.
Yeah.
And this one he doesn't.
Michael.
Unless I listen to the wrong song. But this was much more upbeat. It was much more. It's just different. He had a higher voice. He sounded a little more like everyone else.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. Yeah.
So
everybody, if you're a National fan, hey, they got new shit out. Check it out. Number 13. Misery Index, Naysayer. Here we go. We can shout this one out to Keith G, but I think he said he wasn't really too blown away by it, the first single, and talked to Mr. Justin Wallace before we recorded from Juice Pro Wrestling. Check that out. He liked it. He said there was a little bit of hardcore influence, and Justin's a pretty brutal dude, so he don't like when that hardcore comes into his death metal. But yeah, man, it's crazy fast. Vocals are great. I like a little bit of the incorporated hardcore shout vocals. It's just not all Cookie Monster.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. What'd you think, Sreten? I know you're not the big death metal guy, but I think it's a notable single and record that is out.
Yeah, it was fine, fast. Drums. The only thing I could comment on is the drums. I'm just super impressed. I know that they find a way to do that, but it's so fast and so consistently fast, and they could stop on a dime and go again, and that's always very, very, very impressive.
Very impressive.
But I have a very, very hard time commenting on music like this.
Okay. Well, we'll move on. Everybody check it out. Good shit. Misery Index, always keeping it real on the grind deathcore scene. Now we'll move on to Vampire Weekend, and the song is called Sunflower. This is really not my cup of tea. Sreten, you're grinning over there. Are you a Vampire Weekend kind of guy?
Sometimes. They
have a huge following.
Yeah. I'm not.
Your brother's a big fan.
A lot of people are, yeah. Every time I'm like, Vampire Weekend, what's that? I think it's something else because of the name. And then I listen, and it just, they make really catchy songs. Very catchy. Good stuff. So, they played, what is that, in Chicago this past summer? The big music fest. Lollapalooza?
Yeah, I think they did Lollapalooza this past year. And they made so much money they didn't even really have to, because they blew up. But I don't know. What'd you think about this track? I see you got little monkeys influence.
Catchy.
Like what else?
Yeah,
just catchy.
I always thought of what they reminded me, and this song actually full on let me know what it was, and it reminds me of the Monkees.
And
as I was a kid,
pop indie rock.
Yeah, right. and it was I used to be obsessed with the Monkees as a kid. Watched them on reruns. I know they weren't like a real band, but they were also on my mind because another member passed away recently.
Oh, really?
I can't remember which one. Dave, I think. But anyways, it's a super. I watched the video too. Jerry Seinfeld's in it for a little bit.
In this video?
Directed by Jonah Hill.
Holy shit! These are some big boys we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a super fast song too. It's not a long. It's short. So it's just catchy. And it's there.
Yeah. So all you folks that like that indie pop rock, we got some Vampire Weekend. Yeah. I didn't mind it at all.
No, me neither.
It's catchy. It is what it is, and it's cool to see those guys come out because they have a pretty big fan base. And Sreten, you could maybe wear your Dave T-shirt when you go to the show. All right. Moving on to American football. This is like some early emo. When I say emo, please don't get that confused with like that 2003 to 2006 Hot Topic, Flogging Seagull bang with the tight jeans on and the black jeans and just that whole Hot Topic look. I'm talking specifically about the early to mid 90s emo, and American football put out some classic shit in the beginning days of that era. Like I said, I know it's 90s. Maybe they were late 90s. Don't quote me on that. It's been a minute. But it was cool to see them drop a new single. It's called Every Wave to Ever Rise. Sreten, what did you think? Did you like that shift in excitement? Ooh.
Slowing it down. When I see American football, I think of Friday Night Lights. I was a huge fan of the TV show. I've been on Explosions in the Sky kick.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
And
Disintegration Anxiety is like my jam.
Really?
That song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the one from the show. And then I had it playing in the store.
What show were they on?
They play the song, what is it called? My Hand in Yours or something like that is the song that it was on Friday Night Lights. I think the film and then the TV show was like the theme song.
Cool.
A version of it.
They're instrumental. Awesome band.
Yeah. So it made me think of that. And when I started listening to this, they sounded very different. But that same, like, I wrote ethereal. So it's like, kind of like, you know, it's just in the air and wispy.
Yeah, very atmospheric.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Very atmospheric. And then towards the end, well, the thing is with Explosion in the Sky doesn't have, it's all instrumental. This actually has vocals. And when you add the vocals and other stuff, it is very different. But then at the end of the song, it did have a little bit of that Explosion in the Sky vibe. Like, then it did have that instrumental. That's what I got of it.
Okay.
And, you know, it's about love and stuff.
It's about.
But I did translate. There's
stuff.
2 lines that are in French. What is it? J'ai mal
deep into this,
au coeur. C'est la faute de l'amour. It's I feel sick and it's the fault of love. It's a good line.
Damn, you really did your research
on this one.
All right, thanks.
Occasionally.
Dude. All right, let's move on to number 16. We have a huge list here for you.
Toki Monster.
Toki Monster. It's Toki Monster. Strange Foot. This shit just. It was a
strange fruit or foot.
Strange fruit. Fruit. Yeah, it's fruit, but not spelled. It's FROOT.
Yeah, because I spelled fruit right. I think when I looked it up.
It's all good.
And then they're like,
it'll be on the spot on the Spotify playlist. But here we go. Another girl, another lady singing. Great vocalist. It's just a nice chill song. Super chill, man. Like it's a good driving and just dive into your feelings.
If you listen to a Joe Riley playlist, he always throws one of these in there at least. And when you did the best of the year, you threw one in that was a little different from this, but it definitely was like different from all the other songs you put on there.
But yeah, you go from Malevolent Creation to this, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But it's hard to make a playlist like this flow because I wasn't going into this, but what has been released so far this year, it's kind of all over the place. A lot of hip hop. There's even more hip hop that I didn't put on here, but I wanted to just spice in some.
Yeah.
But yeah, check them out.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
Yeah, Toki Monster.
This is what I really liked, and I wanted to make a point.
Okay.
When I hear a song like this, I have to go back because I'm obviously obsessed with headphones. I love headphones, and I love clean sound.
I have a nice pair of Bose headphones. You know those ones?
Yeah. The song reminded me of when you go to the store and you put on
Bose. Thanks, Bose.
The song reminded me of the song you would play to see if your headphones are good. Like, it's so clean, and if you put on nice headphones, especially noise canceling, like
Bose
has.
Thanks, Bose. Sponsor us if you want. It'd be cool.
You could actually close your eyes and imagine it's such a clean production that you can imagine that it's being played and sung in front of you.
Yeah,
that's
beautiful.
why I liked it.
It's a good song to go grocery shopping to. How about that?
There you go.
Put those Bose on.
Where's those organic bananas?
Yeah, where's my gluten-free tofu? Is that even a thing?
Probably.
All right, we'll move on to the monsters from the Midway. No, not the Chicago Bears, but Pelican. Yeah, Pelican. They're actually going to be on tour with Cloakroom coming up here too. So shout out to Cloakroom. But the song is Deny the Absolute. I don't know. The Pelican fans can really tell me. I didn't research it that well. But there's a collaboration. There's a lot of other names on each track. Did you see that, Sreten? So I don't know like who else and who these other people are, but the album says Pelican. It sounds like Pelican. Pelican is an instrumental band, like I said, from Chicago. Elements of heavy metal, ambient noise. I don't know, maybe a little bit of hardcore riffage, but I don't even know how to describe Pelican. I've been in love with them for a long time. They kind of escaped my orbit because they haven't put out a release in a minute. We did talk about this coming out, and Scott and Shavy from the Metal and Meat episode are huge Pelican fans, and I have a feeling that we might do a little collaboration and something with Pelican because they are good friends with like Russian Circles out of Chicago, which is something similar, and Cloakroom too. So there's a vibe, and they're all together. But what did you think about this track, Sreten?
I liked it, and I liked it for this reason. I tend to do a lot of work on my computer, but I also do a lot of like I don't want to say it, like yard work, construction work, stuff around the bookstore, my house,
a lot of sweeping,
and when I'm not listening to just constantly sweeping and vacuuming.
Michael's mess.
There's a lot of things that I don't want to do, and so I have a hard time when I have, because you have to do these things. And I know it sounds funny, but this song is when I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm not doing that. I want to find the right music. This is the right music for me.
Oh, cool.
To give me the energy. It's almost like I'm being hyperbolic for sure, but it's like medicine. Like it's what I can listen to and I can be fully focused on that task that I do not want to do.
Right.
So
it's kind of like an ADD rock thing, ain't it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What'd you say?
What'd you say? But yeah, that like Pelican's a good kind of music to like put on as background, and you can tap in or you could just go with the flow.
Yeah.
And like drive, it's great driving music. Shout out to my cousin Ian. He used to listen to like Pelican shit. I gave him over 10 years ago because I've been jamming him for a long time. But he would listen to Pelican a lot when he was riding his motorcycle and like, you know, riding his Harley in kind of like a more of a rural area. You know, he mentioned before rural. But yeah, Pelican, man, that's a good. I like how you explained it. Like they're kind of not like you have to sit down and concentrate. Like who did you say that about in the beginning of the list? Was there something like that? Was that
it was Aesop Rock
or Aesop Rock? Like yeah, put your thinking
Rocky
cap
or
on.
whatever it is.
You know, this kind of has that vibe. Like you could really focus, or you could just put it on in the background. So yeah, Pelican's great. It's a heavy thing, but a great driving music.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to number 18, which I guess is 19 because I put in Freddie Gribbs, but it's Mr. Roy Kinsey, and he's a Chicago-based rapper. He got my attention. This is a shout out to Not Normal Tapes out of Chicago. We're going to have them on the podcast next month. So everyone, please check out Not Normal Tapes out of Chicago base. And Mr. Roy Kinsey is, I believe, the only hip hop artist. I don't know if he's like forever a part of them or he just released one particular EP last year is what caught my attention. But Roy is from Chicago and he's on Not Normal Tapes. He's got a vibe to him, kind of like a Pusha T. So if you like Pusha T, check it out. And he kind of hits a lot of different issues in the city of Chicago and, you know, sex rights, if that's what you want to call it, right? Gay rights and shit like that. So, you know, he's ahead of his time. He's doing something that a lot of dudes aren't, like, I don't know, maybe built for. So I respect him. And besides all of that, like as a rapper, like he's got really good flow. I think he's very original. And Sreten, what did you think? Super serious hip hop here. I see that.
I didn't have a lot of thoughts on this one. I got to hear it again. I asked you to, like you did. I was going to ask you to do what you just did.
Okay.
It finished the list off with something it's a very serious song.
Serious, right? I mean, it's kind of like stuff we don't necessarily talk about that much on the podcast, right? So I don't know. Maybe we could bring him in to after we talk to Not Normal. Maybe he can come and I can interview Mr. Roy Kinsey. But like you said, it's like a very heavy.
Door's always open.
Door's always open, Roy. But heavy subject matter for sure. So maybe he could break that down for us. But I believe he's a rapper that everyone should check out. And maybe I'm a little biased because he's a Chicago dude. So check him out. Good shit. The song is called Crook County. We know what county that is. All right. Now we are going to move on to live shows that are coming up. And Sreten, I'm going to let you take the cheese on this. You could just spit out all your Dave Matthews stuff coming up. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know what's out.
I thought, no, not out, but live. And we're moving to live shows that we want to see.
I didn't write any down.
But I thought you told us, like, didn't you say that with the Gabe episode that there were some Dave Matthews shows that you were going to?
I know. So I'm going in May. I'm going to the Houston show. They're playing in Houston. I think I don't know when they start their tour. I'm going to Alpine Valley to see him one night. I'm going to Tinley Park to see him one night. 2 nights in Noblesville.
Fanboy.
Yeah.
You're going to get a t-shirt?
That's it so far. Probably not. Right. I love going to concerts, but I'm really, really bad about getting band merchandise.
But that's how you support the band, man.
It's true. I don't think Dave needs my support.
Yeah, I think his
tickets were not free.
He just shouldn't dump his sewage anymore in the Chicago River.
Yeah, that happened so long ago. They've shit in so many other places since then.
We didn't forget, Dave.
Never forget.
That was shitty. Really shitty.
Red Elvises are coming in April.
Okay.
Nobody cares about them. No, we'll go to them.
I want to go.
Red Elvises is coming. Unfortunately, at the time that you'll hear this, a band that I've been dying to see for a couple years called Rubble Bucket. I know.
Where do you get these bands?
They're from New York and they're coming to Space in Evanston, which is a super cool little venue. And they're playing this Saturday. I'm gonna miss them. I can't go. It sucks. But this summer, like I just sent you an email before we started. There's gonna be a bunch of stuff. I'm hoping And then a lot of bands are going to be playing at like the Chicago just street festivals, summer street festivals. So I'm looking forward to all of it. There's a Hawaiian guy. I think he's coming in a week or two. Edward Kapana. I've seen him twice in Chicago already.
Edward Kapana, all right.
Yeah. And a couple other people.
Cool.
Like, the Nationals coming this summer.
Are they?
Yeah.
You and Michael going to go? Like
possibly.
In your khakis and tucked in?
Super tight khakis.
Khakis and tucked in button shirt?
Yeah.
I'm just giving you guys
We
shit.
actually have some hate mail having to do with that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to
about that button down shirt.
That button. All right.
So stupid.
People be hating. They be hating. All right. I'm going to talk about a few shows. First and foremost, I just went and saw Daughters at the Bottom Lounge in Chicago. It was amazing.
Yeah.
God, I don't know. Like, everybody go back to that album that came out last year. What the hell is it called? It's a long title. God, everybody's going to hate me for this. I'll look it up. But, man, I wanted to see how they were able to pull off this record. The guitars especially, like, I've never got to see. I don't think I've ever seen the Daughters back in the day. Maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time. But the guitar work is just so chaotic and crazy. It's like a wall of sound. There's nothing else like it. And they pulled it off well. The drumming was great. And the lead singer was just kind of like one of those lead singers, they're good because they're unpredictable. Not like comparing him to Jim Morrison, but kind of like you never really knew what Jim was going to do that particular night. Like, fueled by alcohol and LSD. But like this guy gave you like a little bit of that. I'm kind of like freaked out. Like, what's he going to do? I mean, he was smashing the microphone on his head, like had a constant blood mark there. But the album is You Won't Get What You Want. I just couldn't remember that for some reason. Yeah. I did like my own little write-up review. I bought this record from their website, and it's on the Instagram page. And I reached out to them to see if maybe they could do not a review, but an interview. But they're so busy. Like, this was their first album in like 9 years that they put out.
Yeah.
And it blew up. Like, Fantano from the Needle Drop called it his favorite record. It was his favorite record last year, number one. So when Fantano does stuff like that opens up a lot of doors. He's got a lot of pull, and I love Anthony. He's influenced me in a lot of what I do right now, especially with the podcast. But when dudes like that and other like Rolling Stone and shit are recognizing kind of abstract art like this, it's a great thing. But live, I was glad to see him at the hype of this album. They all got back together almost after a decade, and it was great. That's all I got to say. So check out Daughters, man. It's not an easy listening or an easy listener, and it's kind of like the soundtrack to post-traumatic stress disorder. Not that I've suffered that, but that's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
And Sreten said it scared him, so we got that going for us. All right, next show that everyone has to check out. Tickets are still available. I did get my tickets. Shout out to Mark G. But it's Misfits, and it's with Danzig, Jerry Only, Doyle, and Dave Lombardo on drums. I think Full of Hell is going to be there, and Fear, the iconic punk rockers that they are. And that's going to be at the Allstate Arena on 4/27/2019. So really looking forward to that. I did get to see this Misfits lineup, which is a big deal because Danzig's with them at Riot Fest a couple years ago. It was cool, great experience. However, the sound sucked. Sound always sucks at Riot Fest. I don't care what anybody has to say. Maybe I'm just not an outdoors kind of guy, music guy, but it was cool and nostalgic to see him. But now I feel like I'll be able to like really take it in because it's inside.
Yeah.
So are you going to go, Sreten?
I don't know.
Okay. Now, moving on. Moving on really quick. At Reggie's Rock Club or Rock House on March 22nd.
Oh, yeah.
It's a death metal fest. You got Cryptopsy, Aborted, Benighted, and I don't know. Check that out. Looking forward to that. I did a Cryptopsy episode. Now, that's not the same kind of Cryptopsy anymore. Lord Worm is not a part, but None So Vile is one of my favorite records of all time, especially in extreme metal. So go back and look for that episode. That was really cool. It was a lot of fun. Moving on, we have Massive Attack. These guys, it was big, kind of like ambient.
I haven't heard that name.
Remember
forever.
that name?
Yeah.
They're back, and they have like this huge, I don't know, like revival and following like in the hipster culture. I'll just call it for what it is, and Massive Attack's great. And I believe it's sold out, but maybe you could buy some tickets on StubHub. I'd love to go. So if anybody wants to take me, just slide right into my DMs. But it's at the Chicago Theater. So Massive Attack, Sreten, you remember that name? Your eyes lit up.
I just remember the name.
Okay.
That's electronic music, right?
Yeah, it's got like a...
Ish?
Yeah, it does. It's got that vibe.
I'll Google them.
You Google them. It's got a clubby, ravey, slow, like... after a rave and you're coming down vibe. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I did in the late 90s, but let's go on. Let's move. Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. They're coming Tuesday, March 26th at the Metro. I got to see these guys a couple years ago at the Metro as well. Just good. It's doom, but it has a little element of pop sensibility with the vocals and that approach. And if you like Black Sabbath and you like doom, please go and see Uncle Acid. They're from England. They don't come that often, so go. Graveyard will also be with them. American Football, that's on March 30th. And they'll be at the Metro as well. We just talked about them. Deaf Heaven and Baroness. This is a big show. I'd like to check this out. Slide right into my DM if you have an extra ticket. It's at the Riv. It's on March 31st. It's a Sunday. So yeah, Deaf Heaven and Baroness. Baroness has some new shit coming out too. I don't know if a new single dropped, but they released the new album cover and they always base it off of color themes. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be the Orange album. We could fight about that. Slide right into my DMs. Another huge one here, the band Failure. I did not get tickets for this. I think it may be sold out, but they're at the House of Blues on April 5th. I don't know. They used to open up for Tool back in the days, so got this really cool 90s alt-rock vibe. Love Failure. Great band. So check that out. And I'm looking through my list. I think that's about it. I got Big Bite. They were on my list of favorite records. They're this like kind of post-grunge shoegaze band. They're playing at the Empty Bottle on April 9th. There's also another band, Show Me the Body. I've partied with these guys a few times. They're playing at the Sub T April 13th. They're a good mix of like chaotic Black Flag, punk rock, and hip-hop. They're just all over the place. Very, I don't know, just Black Flag and dirty punk kind of vibe. And then we have Electric Wizard. They're another badass doom band. They're playing at the Riv April 15th. So please check them out. And I'm looking through my list. I think that's it. Oh, we have Sun. I say Sun. Oh, don't punch me in the face, but that's how you can read it. They're this crazy ambient style of doom. They're doing their own deal. We talked about them on Metal and Meat as well. And they're coming April 19th at the Rockefeller Memorial Chapel. Ooh, that's probably that place that, who just played there? Peter Murphy from Bauhaus. It's like an old church. Yeah, it's something new. He just played there like a few weeks ago. And we have La Dispute. They're playing at Thalia Hall. And they're coming April 23rd. So check them out. Post-hardcore band from Michigan. I haven't really checked them out. I know they put out a new single. They're decent. And then we have the infamous Dying Fetus, which will be my last one I'm talking about. That is at Concord Music Hall. And that is on April 25th. So everybody go back, check that shit out. And now, Sreten, let's move on to Hate Mail. So it's been a while. Oh, hold on. One more. I'm just looking through my list. This is in May, but I wanted to stop at April. But Birds and Row are coming back. We had a nice interview with them. They're from France. They're awesome. They'll be at the Cobra Lounge.
Yeah, they just announced a new tour.
Yep, May 4th. But let's go to Hate Mail.
Do I read all of them or just...
Whatever.
All right,
we could save some.
I don't want to save them. I hate saving them. Hurts my feelings.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Right. Dear Joe, I've never written an email to a podcast before, but after I was turned on to the podcast by a buddy and I went back a bunch of episodes. I went back a bunch of episodes. I heard the hate mail part. When I heard that, I felt I had to send you an email. Real cool. Okay. Great show. It's the best part of my lunchtime commute on Mondays and Tuesdays. First, when is Boyan coming back? Ooh. I like that dude. Aww. Second, still waiting on that Cure episode. I'm Team Cure. Morrissey can go eat meat. Whatever.
Okay.
Everyone at my work loves Morrissey, and I will enjoy watching them all make excuses when he cancels his show in Chicago instead of finally getting pissed off at the dude. Go White Sox. Didn't leave a name.
All right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, we got to do a...
That wasn't so hateful.
No,
I don't know what I was so nervous about.
Got to do a Cure episode, and I have a Morrissey one we talked about it in the past, but it's on the horizon. I just want to make sure it's done right, and it's going to be a positive one. Focus on all the cool shit that he's done.
Hey, Morrissey, door's always open.
Door's always open, Maz.
Tell your side of the story.
He is doing a show on Broadway in New York, and then Johnny Marr he's got new shit out too. Everybody check out Johnny Marr's stuff, but they're going to be in New York on the same weekend. So all the Smiths and Morrissey nerds and Johnny Marr lovers are like, hey, man, I wonder if Johnny's going to show up on stage, bro. Like, who knows? We'll see. But, all right, what else you got?
All right. Dear Joe, this one is for Sreten. Nice. First, I really enjoy the episode with Dave from Smuggler Coffee. Is it Smugglers, right?
Smugglers.
Yeah. I like coffee. That's not original, but I do like coffee, and I like hearing people talk coffee like other people like hearing people talk wood shop or car talk or wine.
What about music?
And craft beer talk. He didn't write that.
What a dick.
Back to Sreten, it says, "Hey man, I've been watching the YouTube videos as well as listening on my phone, and I have to say, knowing that you run the studio, I know who your favorite Marvel superhero is not. I know it isn't Iron Man because holy shit, these studio curtains, you should probably iron them, man."
The curtains get a lot of hate, man.
It says, "That's it. I feel very clever. Love the podcast. Jeff from Lansing." Another Lansing person.
People. All right, we got that Lansing fan base. Yeah, the curtains. Hey, man, we do what we can. I'll bring the steam cleaner in here.
I have it in here. I'm going to actually iron.
All right.
No, let's not talk.
If all they got to bitch about is the curtains, we're okay.
Yeah.
But shout out to Dave. Is there any more, Sreten?
Yeah, there's one more.
Okay.
Dear Musically Meditated, just letting you know, first, the interviews and show has been great. It's cool to hear Joe always finding a common musical thread with every person that comes through the studio. I have a small group of podcast-obsessed friends, and a game we like to play is Make That Drinking Game when listening to a podcast. Do what you will with this information. We drink a shot every time Joe gives us a double awesome. What is a double awesome?
What is that?
Awesome. Awesome.
Do I say awesome a lot?
I guess. Yeah, you do. Do a
That's
double
pretty
awesome. Awesome. Ha, 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 ha. Nothing but love. Really enjoy the hip hop suggestions. One more thing. Sreten thought he wasn't going to be part of this. I saw the YouTube video of you in that collared blue button-down shirt. Hey man, they make shirts that fit big guys. It says you a grown man. That shirt fits you like you were a much smaller alien in a fat guy alien costume.
Damn, that's shitty.
I hear Men in Black 3 is coming out. Are you in Men in Black 3? That's not funny. Here's a number to a tailor in Chicago that can help you.
God.
It says 1-800, you a grown man, dress yourself. Ha ha ha, that isn't a number. Get yourself together. Love the show. George from Hammond, Indiana.
Damn, George. Settle down. Well,
Hey,
I'll try to stop saying awesome, but that's not awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right.
I think now we'll all hear it.
No, I'm gonna stop. But I just want to say something really quick. We have had a lot of guests on the past 10 episodes. So shout out to Alan. That was a great one. Big J, heavy metal back in the day with Big J. We're gonna bring him back. Parker, pop punk dudes, really good. They're doing great things in Chicago. We also had Matt Abear. That was a lot of fun. Good heavy metal talk. So go back to that. Definitely going to bring Matt back on and do a specific review revisit. Also, we had Scott and Aaron Shavy from Hobart Lumber and Boneflower. Shout out to those guys. Go back. Dave from Smugglers and Danielle Parsons, the photographer from LA. So It's been a lot of fun. And if you're interested and you'd like to come on the show, just shout out. You could email us at musicallymeditated@gmail.com. You could also call us. Sreten, go.
1-812-963-4727. 1-812-963-4727. You want to say it, Joe, because I feel like I'm burping.
1-812-963-4727. Give us a call. But please also remember this, and I did notice, and Sreten noticed as well, we've been kind of not trying to bully you, but just remember to subscribe. It's very important so that we can compete, and the numbers are doing well. But please share everything that you can. And remember to subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all that shit.
It's working.
It's working.
What you guys are doing is working.
Yeah, it's really
leave more reviews.
Out.
Please don't be lazy. Just leave a review.
And a rating and all of that, and share it with somebody that would love our content. And like I said, once again, thanks to everyone that has been listening. The numbers are doing well. They're improving, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. And like I said, that's heavenly at episode 70. We've made it to 70. That's pretty awesome. What are we going to do at 100?
We're going to burn this.
We're going to burn this bitch down at 100. I'll just say it now. But yeah, everybody, please subscribe. Thank you. Adios. See you next week. I'm musically meditated.
That's right.
I'm musically meditated. That's right. I'm musically meditated.
producer my ass over there.